Yes, it's the Jared podcast and we are back again. Super excited. This is episode 4. My name is Ben Psycho. Welcome to the Jared podcast and I'm joined with...
My name is Wanjiru. Karibuni sana. We are happy to have you here. Should we do the comments from last time?
How are you feeling today?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've just
dived in and we'll unpack
that.
We'll unpack that today. Yeah.
I'm doing good. Doing good. All things considered. Nice. Tired, but nothing my 7-month cannot... what is this called? Cannot help me out of. Yeah.
Great. I'm happy as well. Thanks for asking.
Sorry, you?
Yeah.
You look nice.
Really, This is Lady Clothing, premium t-shirts. Check them out on Instagram. Very happy to be here today, actually. Today we're having a very interesting conversation, which we're going to be getting into. But maybe first, let's look at some of the previous comments on previous episodes. So there's an episode that we did with present fatherhood.
Okay. And a thriving mama.
You know, one of the things I've noticed with a lot of our comments is that a lot of people, it's like they don't even listen to what you're telling them.
Who, me?
Yeah, they say, Wanjiru is so beautiful. Wanjiru is so gorgeous.
Thank you.
The first comment, hey, Wanjiru, show us your ways. You're glowing. I know this has been said a lot, but Wanjiru, you're so beautiful. No. Motherhood suits you so much. That hair, skin, you are stunning.
Thank you.
So somebody else said that this is the topic that we were talking on.
Love bombing.
And somebody said, Masquerade 254 said, let's get a professional to speak on this subject of love bombing. Great episode, guys. Much as one side. No, but maybe what they mean is that they need to hear the professional advice. Yeah, to kidogo ni jua kali. What else? I loved the conversation. This is Shia Kadhomi saying, I loved the conversation. Fun fact, Rachel and I worked together. So proud of her journey. And then Lucy saying, Aki, whatever happened to Shiro after Baby Tower, she's looking amazing. Do you drop
guys, the Ntafanya ka class.
Can you?
See how to get your glow.
Oh, really? Yeah, not the idea. I can be your manager. Niko tu huko mimi nachukua risiti.
Ndio kuko gate.
More university KSS alumni are in the house. Present fatherhood and
a thriving mama Rachel.
Thriving mama. They say that they met at Moi University. So that's some great stuff.
Yeah.
Edna wa Kigodho. Super great podcast. I realized after agreeing to be a girlfriend, that's after 3 months. After agreeing to be a girlfriend, that's after 3 months, then all of a sudden I started getting a wave of emotional drain, wild war here and there for trying to put boundaries on less calls during the day. He got mad and every day arguing because of the boundaries. Truth be told, I called it off. The moment I started getting sleepless nights of the environment being created, I call it off. I definitely wouldn't wish this anyone that type of energy. It's draining. This is what we're talking about, love bombing, where somebody just shows you so much love and affection in hopes that they're going to manipulate you with that.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments from your end?
No, I think you've read enough comments. At some point ungesoma ingine ingekwambia wacha. No, I'll read the next episode so that we can deep dive into today's episodes.
Okay.
So in today's episode, it's one that we have done in season 2, and then we did again in season 3, I think. Yeah, we did one in season 3. And that's featuring Nyambura, who is our resident therapist. We're going to give you that title. But karibu sana to our set season 7. How have you been since we last... I know we've seen you, but since guys saw you here.
Right. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I accept the title of resident therapist. Yeah, thank you so much. I've been well.
Oh.
And I'm glad to be here again.
Oh,
thank you.
Good to see you.
You know, Nyambura, I feel like this therapist space just accepts her. You know, even the way she speaks, like you get there and your trauma first of all starts to calm down. You don't know if you need to explore further. Like imagine going to a therapist who's
like energy.
It's weird, you know.
You know, the first episode we ever did with Nyambura.
Yeah.
It was season 2, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very interesting episode for me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. For me particularly. I think you can go back and watch it. It's still on our page. I think I didn't anticipate that kind of feedback, but it was a good episode all the same.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how this episode will pan out.
Mm-hmm.
What are your expectations today?
I'm just hoping not to cry. We'll unpack this tension. Yeah. So, karibu sana Nyambura. We're
you.
super happy to have you on the show again
Yeah.
and again. So let's see how this goes. The conversation is
Parenting versus partnering. Yeah.
Awesome.
how to balance both.
And I don't know how this conversation will go. So let's just deep dive into
Maybe
the
before
scenarios.
Nyambura, tell us something interesting about yourself.
I play the cello.
Ooh, she's a celloist. What people who play the cello?
Cellists.
Cellist.
Yeah. I must say I'm a student.
Cellist.
Cellist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm a
okay.
student.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of people, some people might not even know what a cello is. We're going to put a picture here so that
Yeah.
what
You
we're
can see a
carrying
cello.
a drama.
I think you find that very fascinating.
Playing the cello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Maybe
you started,
because of your music background?
oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I used to play violin when I was like very little.
You played for 1 week.
I
And
played
now-
one song.
You
and let me
played
tell you, baby, it's
one
going
song,
to be on my biography.
And now even Tao is going to learn that his dad is a violinist. And
Like the same way our parents used to tell me to go to school without shoes.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, he used to play violin. Mad thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Cool
So
stuff. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
describe your expectations for your child. When do you want them to go to school and where?
When I'd say at around 3, 4.
Okay.
Where it will depend on my financial capability. I have options. The other day was actually, I decided just for fun, I'm going to check out school fees around this Nairobi of ours. Not just Nairobi, just Kenya. Some of the poshest schools that we see around. I was shocked. I was very shocked. Some schools I saw school fees were up 3.6 mic per year. 3.6. Hey!
Yeah.
Huyo akifika home lazima pia mimi anifundishe. He has to teach me something.
So if you have this money, does that mean they will go to that school?
That's a good question because
Is that the only determinant of where they go to school?
No. That's not the only determinant. First of all, I would want them to be in touch with the Kenyan system.
Okay.
So I heard some systems don't teach Swahili and they also don't teach the Kenyan history. Now, my son has to know about the Kapenguria 6,
Yeah.
the Gikuyu Mombi and all that stuff.
Mekatilili wa Menza.
Mekatilili wa Menza, Koitalel Arab somewhere. You remember the other day having a
They
conversation?
do teach that, right? Still.
I'm
No,
not
I'm
sure
sure,
in
yeah. I hope-
IGCSE if they
I hope.
still teach.
But Kenyan
or in
system,
Kenyan
they teach, right?
Yeah.
Hatuna watoto hawajafika that age.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
history
So
bado.
it's jua.
The
Basi
maths
tulifanya
does part
GCSE.
of
Yeah.
the history. Yeah.
Social studies.
Yeah, so that I would consider that highly. I would want them to learn about the Kenyan stuff. Finances, of course. What else is a
High school?
determinant?
Boarding school?
Boarding is a no.
Even high school?
Even high school is a no. They're not going to boarding school.
Uni abroad?
Uni abroad, maybe. I'll be open to that, but we have to FaceTime after every 3 hours, so I don't see any suspicious behavior. At this point of my life, I'm noticing how I'm starting to be like our parents, partly because I'm also feeling like I need to take him to a Christian school.
Yeah.
He needs to learn values. Kitambo used to be like, why do
Judge
people
your
think
parents.
about why do you want to take somebody to St. Thomas?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, hoping there's no St. Thomas somewhere, but something like that. But now I'm starting to feel like, okay, they need to go somewhere where they start with praise and worship. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think we aligned. Same 3, 4 years in school, where Kenyan system for sure. No boarding school in high school. I'm okay with if they want to go to abroad for uni, but I think I'll go with
Unless you go with them.
I think I'll go with I cannot imagine my son away from me.
Wait, what about your husband?
Hey,
We need
you'll
to talk
follow
about
us.
this somewhere. We need to talk about
We'll
this.
You'll
okay?
follow us.
We'll unpack.
You'll
unpack
follow
this.
us.
But I'm also considering.
And I'm not joking. I'm not living continents away from my son.
We will need to.
You're the one who's going to FaceTime with us every 3 hours.
I'm also considering homeschooling.
Who's going to do the homeschooling?
We'll have to figure that out. But there's just a way I'm also feeling like maybe school should just end at 12 or at 1 and just having the rest of your day to do whatever. So that's something I've considered because I'm currently working with somebody who has been doing that for all their kids because he's older than me, and it sounds really cool and really fun.
What do? They bring in a tutor? Or
Okay, so the wife is a teacher,
Okay.
so it's easier for them to be taught. So they wake up like at Them, they love waking up early, but class will start at around 8. They'll do that all the way till 12. And I hear that there are books online, or you get, and then you do that.
Hujafika hiyo part ya research?
Sijafika hiyo part.
Umefika tu hiyo part ya ni possible?
No, niko kwa part ya hype. Mimi like your hype sana. If my baby will be...
But who teaches them? Between us.
Si nimekwambia, I've not done that research. Like, okay, when you're the ones who are supposed to teach them.
If it boils down to a parent?
Definitely. I mean... we can go another subject.
Saki hiyo kazi. Zangu anaenda shule. Do you want them to play sports, or should we do all of them and then Nyambura you'll come in? Yeah. Okay. So, do you want them to play sports? Are there sports you don't want them to play?
I want him to play all sports that he wants to play, even rugby. Like
rugby is too rough. Like rugby is a bit.
What do you want me to play? Golf?
Maybe.
No, I'm open. I'm open for him playing rugby. I'm even open for him if he wants to do the motorcycle events that happen here at Ngong Race Course, that side. I'll be very happy to take him there to do those things.
I don't think like F1, if he has like passion in racing,
we are selling everything. Right. We are starting with the foundations first of all.
We are not doing that.
So for you, there are sports that he can't participate in. Like which ones?
Dangerous sports.
So what are
like
the safe?
Racing?
What are the safe sports?
Okay, dangerous sports is not the right word, because
all
all of them
sports
have a level of danger to them. Wrestling?
Maybe high risk sports.
High risk. Wrestling? You can imagine me watching my son being just wrestled?
Like he's boxing.
No.
Like, unaenda kulilia referee.
I'm not doing that. All right. What's your take on devices, and when should your child be exposed to devices?
Devices, that's a big one in your house, because I think it's fair after 18. But the thing after 18. Okay, let's be real. But I try and keep him away from devices.
Tunajifanya kwa hii podcast hatujaiongelea hizi vitu.
Tumeongelea about
very shocking when Nyambura is there.
Tumeongelea about devices. And I know I have been anti-devices. Like nowadays, we hardly watch TV when the guy is around. Yeah,
that's good.
Because Doc alisema if we want him to be smart, has to watch TV.
Absolutely.
But that's the only reason I switch
no
off that
committed.
TV. Because this guy has to be smart. So I try not to use my phone when I'm with him. So we try as much as possible, but also I think after 2 you can get them devices
suitable for their age.
Tabs,
and with the content of a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But even that, you have to limit the screen time.
So
when do you want him to get a phone?
Like his own?
Yeah.
That's not... Hey, like tumpe simu yake? I don't know, maybe 12, 13 as a teenager. But I have to have the password. Yeah. What about you? But he's a guy.
As early as possible. I don't know what that age is. I haven't thought about it. But I'm not saying like at 2, he has his own phone. But like I think you're not a gauge, nijue. But if at 10, and it's controlled, of course.
Then you're going to get him the latest, the Pro Max.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Spoil hivyo from your age.
Tushinde FaceTime pamoja. Akitoka shule anani FaceTime.
Ataanza na ka Erickson.
Hapana. Okay. It seems like we have different... I didn't know that. How will you discipline your child? That was the D that I was talking about.
How will I discipline my child? So I learned somewhere that you should discipline your child if... Okay, first of all, you can do it by just talking to them. I don't know how timeout works. It's something new in my life. I've never experienced it.
So it's homeschooling, but you're in the hype.
But I'm researching.
Okay.
I'm researching, and I'll come back with a report. And I'd say if it comes to like he needs to be beaten, I'm open to like disciplining him through kiboko, but not beating him with my hands. I was told my hands are for blessing.
Yeah, and loving.
But belt, maybe kijiko, mwiko, and throwing.
Maybe his belt, not Ben's belt, the child's belt, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
Hata juzi kuona nilitoa belt nikamwambia hii ukicheza.
Don't do that to my son.
So me, I'm open to disciplining him like that.
I think I want to talk and time out.
What?
Yeah.
What's your way of discipline?
Those two.
Talk and timeout. So what does timeout look like?
I don't want any physical. I don't want to call it abuse, but
Wow.
I don't want to. You can't use a belt on him.
Well, I can use something else. Like maybe, I don't know if maybe Peekaboo sells some nice disciplining canes that maybe Zowaka Kipigwa. But yeah.
I'm not for physical.
Keen to understand why.
I just feel like it's violating him.
It's too harsh.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Nyambura, what do you think about that?
And about that.
I think discipline needs to be understood as a big topic. It's not into the house. It's literally into what is discipline for both of you. And discipline is ideally helping the child understand it's okay to make a mistake. You're not punishing their intent or their mistake. You're correcting what you have told them before not to do. So you never punish a child if you've not told them what they've done is wrong.
So you tell them, this is what you've done, this is wrong, and this is why I'm punishing you.
Actually, earlier on, it's like, in this household, this is what we do, this is what we believe in, this is what we call bad behavior. Being disrespectful, being indisciplined, being lazy, being untruthful. And then when he does it or she does it, it's remember we had said that these are things that are bad behavior. That is what I need to correct. Yeah.
So the how
depends on both of you and your values. I think there's appropriate physical contact with something light. You're right, you never use your hands because that causes like a cognitive dissonance in the child. In fact, children who are used to being beaten by the hand, whenever the parent goes to try and reach out for them, they startle.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know if you're beating me at this
if you want a
particular
testimony,
point.
I'm here. I can give you. I'm a case.
As a
You can
child.
use me even in your reports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really depends with your value as a couple.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually some scientific research that came out either 2021 or 2022 after the pandemic isolation that shows that timeout is more torturous to the child than, unfortunately, physical. The reason is because
It's not a competition.
yeah, it's just knowledge.
What have I done?
The reason is because the whole idea behind timeout is you go to that corner, think about it. Now, two things are happening. One, the child feels shame and they feel humiliated. And then they feel rejected as a whole, as a child. And so what they're internalizing, what we are thinking that they're thinking about is, oh my gosh.
My mistake.
Yeah, my mistake has made mommy sad or it has made daddy sad. And they don't have the cognitive capacity to think about what they've done.
I see.
Yes.
Sorry. What about the taking away something?
In fact, again, discipline, you have to talk about it with the kids. It can't be one ambiguous thing that is kind of like bestowed upon them when the behavior happens. They need to understand and they need to be part of it. And that's where it comes into play. It says, if you make this mistake, or if you repeat this behavior that we have said over time you cannot do, we are going to take away your phone and we're going to take away for this amount of time. Another way that you can discipline is actually adding chores. Chores. And say, okay, depending on the age of the child, right? Say your playtime has been cut down by 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes, I want you to collect things around the house and arrange them. Because that kind of discipline is actually building skills.
Okay.
So discipline is not our African culture, which is okay. Most of us were beaten almost to death. We're alive by God's grace. Is more punitive, but that stays much longer and it's fear-based. You want this child to not repeat what they've done. You want them to take ownership of what they've done. It's through actually emotional interaction with the parent. So that even when they're collecting, yes, it's a punishment, but you tell him, oh, you did that, good job. And then after that timed activity, like, okay, do you understand what you've done? So now it's a conversation.
Okay.
Mommy or daddy says, don't lie. What's going on when you lie? Do you understand that this is a problem that can carry on much, much longer. So now you're restoring the disconnection. I know it seems a little bit Western, but it works.
But even the timeout is the one that seems a bit more Western, and you're saying that it has detrimental effect.
Yeah, because
I had no idea.
yeah, most people didn't. The whole time that, and see, timeout was supposed to be given based on the age, right? 1 minute, 1 year, 2 minutes, 2 years. That whole time the child is just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm such a bad child. I've upset my parents. What's wrong with me? So that even by the time they get out of there, they're so kind of detached with whatever, and they don't learn. So the timeout has become punitive.
So increasing chores and
like that.
physical,
Yeah.
subtle, gentle
We'll talk
beating.
about that physical part.
Physical, gentle beating is fair. Man, I remember how my mom used to be. My mom, there was a time she beat me so much. I went hid under the bed. And then it was only my legs outside the bed. And then I can even she beat the ankle. Hey, bro.
Tough times. Will you give your child pocket money, or what reward system will you use?
Will I give my child pocket money? What reward system will I use? Oof. I think I'll try and set targets for them.
In terms of
Not just school, not just the grading system. Just
improve.
yeah, just improving even in the house, whatever
Okay.
they are doing.
Okay.
I'd
Rewarding.
want to involve money in their lives
Yes.
earlier on,
Yeah, you need to.
such that they have their own money, such that even when they want to buy something, they come tell me they want to buy something, ask them how much do you have, and then I boost the rest, so that they can also feel the pinch. So yeah,
Okay, I think we are aligned on that one. What should your child carry for school break? Packed lunch or junk?
what do you think? For me,
For-
answer
for-
for me.
Packed lunch made healthy that morning. And he will interrogate whatever is in that meal and their vegetables.
Almost checking macros. It's like,
yeah, and how many calories is
Yeah.
he taking? Answer for me.
I'm sorry. For you to be anything that makes the boy happy. So if it's pizza or if it's a burger, that's what my wife will pack for him.
okay.
Yeah.
But you can make a homemade burger.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
And
nice.
You see, it's healthy.
Yeah.
That's
You
very
can
nice.
balance
That's-
it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
Because you also don't want to take away the joy of food to,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
to the kid. Yeah.
It's not just
I mean,
Ndomengo
but if
every
they're
day.
used to sweet potatoes from a young age, that's all they will know that this is the best.
Yeah, but they're going to school and seeing other people with pizzas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a tough balance for me.
Yeah.
So I can't be too strict on that as well. He's a baby. But the conversation here is if you're telling me to balance, I'm okay with balancing. But I know conflict might arise. Like let's say it's 1 week straight, and my wife is just packing crepes, or something that I know is just nice for the mouth, but
Right.
it's not nutritionally
Yeah. Something
friendly.
sugary.
Something
Yeah.
sugary, you know.
Some cake.
Some cake and ice cream. Imagine. And if she does that for a while, it's definitely gonna be a tension point for
right.
us,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And maybe the other question would be, what if the boy starts getting bigger, like above his
Based on his food
weight?
decisions.
Yeah.
You know, why I was thinking about the Jaffrey's joke is because Ben was saying, like, when our baby was born, he was a bit chubby.
Right.
Even
Chubby.
now he's still chubby.
Now I feel like he's
toning, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
toning. His muscles are toning.
Yeah.
But when he was born, he was a bit chubby. So Ben was saying, akiendelea hivyo watakuwa wanaenda Jaffrey's pamoja. Ama namdrop somewhere anatembea hadi home. Aanze kulose your weight
Daddy, why
mapema.
don't you pay for the school bus? Just walk.
Just keep
The school
walking.
is
and-
5 kilometers away. It's not so far.
You know, and another thing, maybe even off of that, would be about exercise. Because I know you are very particular about him living a very healthy lifestyle, even in movement. I'm a bit fluid with that. So I don't know what we're going to do about that.
But you see, like the other day, I met this young kid. He's a brilliant, bright kid, by the way. He's a friend of ours. And he told me that he doesn't want the parents to pay for the school bus for him because he wants to lose weight. So he got a bike. So he goes to school with the bike. And he's actually lost a lot of weight the other day that I met him. And I found that to be so progressive. And
But it's interesting it came from him because we also want to be careful. We don't body shame the child so that they
What
don't
does body
have.
shaming the
But
child
what does that
like?
look like? Because you want them to be healthy, but also you don't want them to feel like you're shaming them.
Right. And the way to prevent all this before we come into the body shaming is to have a timetable that is balanced. There is a time, I think, when the kids go between the ages of 10 and 12, there's a growth sprout.
Okay.
And hormones are changing for
Yeah.
girls, and that's when you see a lot of kids packing up weight.
Yeah.
So you want to have a conversation with the realities of the societies that we live in and say, listen, I love you, you're my child, but I'm just concerned that if you continue packing on more weight, health-wise, this is going to be what's going to happen. And unfortunately, we live in a society that's quite superficial. So what I think we should do, you and I, not you go and is, I'm going to the gym. Do you want to come join me? Or I'm going for a walk. Let's walk together. We can listen to music together. We can have a catch up time together. You see, that takes away the body shaming in where maybe parents would say, oh, you've added so much weight. Why don't you think of losing all that weight? You know, that leaves the child feeling so isolated and so shameful about themselves. But when you sit down and have an authentic conversation with them, you'll be so surprised that they already know that they are much bigger than their classmates. And the fact that you're already telling them, I want to do this with you, it reduces on the rejection that they're feeling. But a timetable can really balance that out.
A timetable of activities or
Food
as well,
and activities.
Okay.
Yeah. But conversations, authentic, real conversations. These kids are smart.
Yeah. It's interesting because I see how like our folks or our grandmothers, like when they're talking about how we've added weight, like it's always they're normally so brutal and cutthroat.
Address me, correct? Because my
I didn't even
grandmother,
look this side, you know.
because the mothers have been coming for me.
Oh, have they? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but
it's
it's
the
like
grandmothers, and then now the mom is like, "Shosho, nowadays we don't talk like
You-
that. You don't tell people that. There's a kind of way of doing it." And when she goes away, I'm left with Shosho, and she's like, "Onogomora ugare. No me is nikarete hani. You know, kame kula kula." Like Shosho, you are warned.
but it's okay. It's like you give them a pass.
Oh,
yeah.
They're shushus.
Yeah.
All right. Will your child be allowed to question your decisions, or is it do as I say? If so, at what age can they question you?
I'd love to explain reasons behind decisions from a very young age.
Okay.
I hope they
I
understand
didn't
me.
know that about you.
What do I look like? Like a teacher?
Come
Is
on.
that what I'm giving? From a very young age, I'll try and have this conversation. So I hope that they get to adapt some things, like Sunday mornings by 8, everybody should be in the car waiting to go to church. Probably you can just choose a gospel playlist. I'll leave them there. That, if you understand the reason behind or not, we'll talk. But I'd want to explain reasons, because I also see, like, I have a friend and he was telling me that when the boy started growing up, he would hide so that he goes to work. So like, you see the way babies cry because you've left. So he used to hide and then he goes. And then later on he realized, but then I can just stop and tell this guy, I'm going to work, but I'll be back in the evening.
Yeah.
And he noticed that there was a shift. Just that simple explanation. And the boy would even tell him, bye, please bring me this, please bring me that. So when he told me that, I started understanding that maybe if I also involve this boy in decision making, it would make life easier for both of us.
What about those decisions that he wants to question?
Like which one?
Like church, say for example, because I know church is a big one for you. So if he says at 13 he doesn't want to go to church,
where does he want to go? You know, I don't have a problem not going, but where does he want to go?
maybe he doesn't want to go to church
He just wants to
in
stay
your
at home.
house. What happens in
And
that
it's
case?
the Lord who has brought us this far.
Yeah. Because even like for me, I struggle with that. Because in a sense, I think I will be the parent who I think I will be. Not to say that maybe I will change. That will sort of like want to give him space to do it. But also I'm cognizant of the fact that if you give him too much room, you lose them.
That's a good balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For you?
I don't know. And you see, it's not even the issue of church. Sometimes maybe they want to come to church, but at that age, they can also tell you they want to go to a different church.
My son did
No,
that.
I'm talking about church altogether.
Or like he wants to stop going to church.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can afford his upkeep from that point henceforth.
Oh, it becomes a deal.
Oh, that's a deal breaker.
Hey?
What about you? If he tells you he's questioning church and all that,
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a tricky balance where I want to hold space for him.
what does that look like? Give us a practical example.
See, then, okay, if you don't want to go to church, where do you want to go?
He
Hang
doesn't.
out with your friends.
No, he wants to stay at home and play video games.
Can you join online?
No, he doesn't want to join online.
I don't know.
I think these are one of the things that are tackled under family values.
Okay.
And this is the question that you asked Ben earlier on. Where would you, like, what's the balance with allowing your child to do as I say, or like, these are some of the conversations that you would have. It's saying because we are a Christian family, we all go to church. And this is way earlier before it even comes, because you're communicating expectations, right? So it's saying we are a Christian family. However, if you're tired or if you're feeling like today is just not it, there is balance for that as well, because you also don't want to say you must go to church, because that warps the relationship of the child with God.
Yeah.
When you said he goes to another church, when my son was 16, 17, he used to go to another church. I used to go to another church as well. Yeah. As long as he's going to church, I mean, thank God he's going to church at that particular point. And also when they become teenagers, you start to realize that they are a small human being with their own, like with their own thoughts, with their own decisions. Yeah. But this can be done earlier. I don't know about, it's a good thing that you have that balance, because he's a human being.
Yeah.
Rigidity never works.
Really?
Yeah. As human beings, fear only goes so far.
Yeah.
Until you're like, I don't even care about these things anymore. So, and you also don't want your child just to come to church to please you.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of my greatest fears is for him to grow up and not want to continue with church. That for me is a genuine fear.
And you can share that with him.
Oh, really? I can tell him.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. You know, the other day he was dedicated in church.
Yeah.
So I posted online. Then when I went home, I called one of my friends. She also grew up in church. But, you know, people grow up. Life happens.
Yeah.
But she still goes to church. Then she tells me, Ben, unajua hata sisi tulikuwa tumededicatiwa. I was like, that's not so.
I love when akasema shindwe tawa, you'll not be like
Truly.
So, yeah, that for me is a fear.
I like the fact that
you
Nyambura
can
has
tell
said that
him.
you can tell him that
you can
that's a
tell
fear.
him. Yeah. When he's growing, he's like, I want you to be this kind of man, you know. Your mom and I have done this for you. These are our hopes for you. These are our dreams for you. These are our aspirations for you. These are also our fears for you. You know, choose right friends because of this and that. Choose the right partner. I think that's one of the things that as parents, we need to teach our children how to choose their right partners.
Yeah.
Right from a young age, because the quality of your partner depends on your overall quality of life.
Yeah.
Hey, that's deep.
The quality of your partner.
Quality of your partner depends with your overall
Quality of
Determines,
life.
the overall quality of your
People can
life.
tell my quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Am I bragging? Would you ever maybe like at an older stage, maybe you don't know now, but do you think you would be curious would you be tempted to interfere with the choice of partner that your son brings?
Publicly, I'll say no. Privately, I'll say yes. Privately, I will say a big fat yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Turning out to be our folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Describe your partner's parenting philosophy.
That's really good.
For 10, it's fluid. We can talk. I'll give you space. I'll try and accommodate you to a certain point. In some areas, though, but in some areas, there she might not be as fluid as she thinks she is. Because if the boy comes and says he wants to start playing rugby, for example, 7-a-side, you know, that's sevens, you know, like
Yeah.
And you know, that's my mom, because we went kayaking one day. And kayaking is like the least. I find it, of all water kind of involving sports, it's the least dangerous in my
Risky.
opinion.
Right.
My mom couldn't watch us. She went. She said, I cannot sit here and watch. She packed her bags and she left.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I feel like I've become
Her.
her.
But what Ben is saying here is that you're a mother who is very balanced and you're present, which is a good thing.
Yeah, you could say that in some departments. In some departments, she's not balanced. Yeah.
I think for Ben, it would be,
I'm here.
I think I'm here to guide you. Whatever you choose for yourself, I will guide you through that. Sort of like hovering over you to show you the way. But also to a certain degree, I think so.
Like guide you to a certain degree.
No, like you'll guide, but there's also certain limits. Like if you can have your way and I'll guide you as you have your way, but also as you have your way, there are limits to it. And I will ikifika place now, I'll tell you now, this is the other way. Let's go this way.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
But then both of you have some level of balance in parenting.
What do you mean?
He has the direction. It feels like he's ahead and you're beside, but you're going towards him, both of you, in terms of the direction.
Wait, who's ahead? Ben is ahead?
Ben is ahead.
Where is Tawa now?
Besides you.
Okay.
Because
So
he
me and
says,
Tawa here.
yeah. And Ben, I'm just giving an analogy,
Yeah.
right? And Ben is like, guys, this is the way to go. So you and Tawa, you're going towards Ben, which is a good thing.
I feel
Like a true priest.
you like that for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's accurate for you?
Yes, that's very accurate.
Yeah.
That's very accurate.
Yeah. And that's the balance of parenting, isn't it? In therapy, we say you don't want to strive to be a good parent. You want to strive to be a present parent.
Yeah.
I remember. when you
In
said that.
all moments, in all experiences, in
Yeah.
all situations. Because that's also who our Father is to us. We go to him when we're afraid. We go to him when we need bread.
Yeah.
We go to him when we need forgiveness. And so he's constantly there providing, but also directing.
Yeah.
So between the two of you, you have a good balance here.
Okay.
Not
I
bad.
agree with that.
Not bad at all.
All right. Let's take this one. Question 4. Has your difference in parenting affected your romantic relationship? Give examples of a negative effect and a positive effect.
Difference in parenting affect our romantic relationship. Wow. So, for example, I'd give you a difference in parenting. Is that when I'm in the house, I'll give this boy attention 100%. But sometimes when I'm outside, I'm engaged in other activities. I won't keep reminding my wife, hey, after 10 minutes, hey, how do you think the baby is? You know me, I'm cool. For her, on the other hand, she's always on. Like, she does not have a time where she switches off. It's not like I also switch off. Let's say I just dim. Let's say I dim.
Let's just call
Switch
it
off.
what it is.
Switch off is a strong word. Let's say I dim, because this is a modern lighting house, so you can reduce the intensity of the lighting. And so like even when we go out for dates, so like when we were out for a date, she's still curious to check up on him. Me on the other hand, I'm like, this is just 2 hours of freedom.
That's switching off.
Let me just I'm still with that. So I still dim it. So that's one way you can see how different we are as parents. But does it affect our romantic relationship? No, it's not gotten to a point of conflict, like a fight.
Yeah.
Not yet, or no.
That's a good thing.
I think for me, I struggle to understand how he's able to dim the lights. And it makes me feel sort of some type of way. I'm trying to find the words for that type of way feeling. The fact that I'm always on, I have to figure out, has he eaten? What has he eaten? Has he slept today? How many times has he slept? And I don't know if it's a mother thing that dads don't get there, but it almost feels like You know, for me, I think context, when we were coming into to parenthood, I thought we would be balanced in a sense. And so small things prove the imbalance. And I think I struggle to understand how I feel about that imbalance, which is where I'm at.
That's one of the most difficult things that we see in couple relationships, especially when they're in their family creation timeline. You'll find that the mother bears more physical needs for the child. Unfortunately, I would be very careful to say that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know, but I know because of the nature of the anatomy of the mother, we are the ones who have to breastfeed. We are the ones who have to. Our hearing is sharper when we have a young baby. You will hear the baby cry before he does, right? Anatomically, it's because at one point when baby was in utero, when you are pregnant, you both were one. So there was a very strong emotionally connected bond that you share with baby. That imbalance is there. I think it's important that we point it out. And most of the time, unfortunately, it's very, very heavy on the mothers because it takes a long time for the mothers to even settle in when they're breastfeeding, really. So it's completely understandable that that imbalance exists. And I don't know what we're going to do about it, in all honesty.
How can I be there for you?
I actually do not know, because it's small things.
Yeah.
It's small things where Ben's roles, he can delegate them.
Like what?
Like
because
simply
I
like
can't
washing
breastfeed.
baby. Like washing baby. Ben can say, "Oh, I'm too tired today. Someone else do it for me so that I can rest." I can't
rarely
say I'm
happens,
too
though.
tired. Come on.
Why are you rolling
Joyride
your
is an
eyes?
honest place. I can't say I'm too tired to breastfeed.
No, you can't.
I cannot say that. And so those are the things. I don't know if they've affected our romantic relationship. I mean, I still love him even more, probably. I still struggle to understand how I feel about that in our dynamic.
Yet you're here and you both are still continuing, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think the thing we don't want to think about, or the thing that we don't want to look at like as a problem, is the struggle should not exist so that the marriage flourishes.
Say that again?
The struggle should not exist so that the marriage flourishes. The struggle can still exist and the marriage can still...
They can coexist.
Yeah. Because both of y'all are going through a transition. As a mother, that's heavier because it's physical, emotional, mental. As a dad as well. But if we compare in terms of the transition and the weight, she honestly bears
Definitely
most of the weight. The thing is, continue to have these conversations. I think you listening with the awareness that you can't do anything at that particular point will give a much stronger emotional connection. She'll feel supported
by providing an ear.
Yeah, and just that very active listening, if that kind of makes sense.
You seem like you want to dwell here.
No, I know.
So let's look at a situation where, for example, as a couple, is there an instance where I've done something as a parent that you felt that affected how me and you are relating? For example, there's just like tension in the air based on how I've handled something, or also how you've handled something with Tower, and there's some tension, maybe like you can just feel like there's something in the air. And I'll give you like an example. So like when we're about to leave the house, so at some point it had not clicked to me that even if the baby is so young, just tell him bye-bye. So mi nilikuwa tu nikitoka. And when we get to the car, Shiro is like, why do you always leave without telling the baby bye-bye? And I'm like, what's your problem? That's me problem and him. What thing is a mix? But now with time, so that's something on how we parent differently, because she will never live without telling him bye-bye. So now I've also had to adopt to telling him bye-bye, blessing him, leaving him with some blessings. And now when I get into the car, my wife is just in a very good mood because of how I treated him.
Yeah.
That's an example. Do you have another example?
I think for me, it's when I don't know how to put this because it's so and so. Because sometimes when Tawa is having like a moment of airing his frustration, and we're super tired, sometimes Ben would take I don't want to say a hands-off approach, but he would be like, let somebody else handle it. I'm too tired. But I'm like, it's our job as the parents to step in and calm this baby down. So it's not anyone else's job. So I feel really happy and like it affects our relationship positively when I see him come with a baby, trying to calm him down, trying to be there for him. But the minute I see somebody else is dealing with that baby and Ben is just sitting down, I'm just wondering, what are we doing here? Why did we come here to do this?
You know this, that somebody else is just our nanny because it's just the three of us who handle this baby. And she can equally calm him down nicely. So sometimes when I'm too tired and she's free, I'm like, okay, maybe she's happy to help. And so,
I will be honest.
Shiro is such an always on person, such that even when...
I struggle to understand how dads are tired. I just said it. And it came out.
Fathers, let's meet in the comment section. Let's meet in the comment section, fathers. Don't unsubscribe, fathers. Let's keep subscribing, but let's meet.
I struggle to understand how you mean you're too tired, but that's.
I have a bruised back from all the bending from when he was born up to today. Like I still have to do physio once in a while. Junior, I think they dislocate mgongo. My shift is harder than her shift at night because I have to get out of bed. Remove the milk from the freezer, put it in a dish, put hot water until it's warm. All this time, this guy is shouting. So probably I'm there smiling with him, trying to cheer him up. When it's her shift, she'll just probably just bring the boy closer, boob him. And they all black out. That's her shift.
Yes, you dads do an amazing job.
Her shift will probably take max 5 minutes.
You dads are amazing.
My shift can take sometimes up to an hour.
Agreed.
And this is at night.
No jokes now. Yeah, agreed.
No, you need to tell the dads sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was a joke.
So there are those things. What I was saying is that Shiri is such an always-on person, such that even when somebody else is taking care of the baby, and I trust that person, I can genuinely relax and just get on Netflix. For her, she can't. Like even if somebody else, and she will handle him because they're very good. They're friends. They're very tight.
Right.
Shiro will still be. It's like Bado, her body is burning. Like she wants to know, has he calmed down? Now she gets mad that I have that mechanism of sometimes dimming. So because she wants us, all of us, to go to attention to see what
I believe the primary responsibility ya Tawa ni sisi wawili. So whenever something is not right with Tawa, it's not the nanny's job to do it. It's our job to do it. And so that's why I get frustrated with Ben when he takes a back seat and says, oh, somebody else, let them figure it out for now.
But that's rarely. Like once in a while, she can handle him. It doesn't mean that because we're the primary that we do that all the time. We also get tired.
I think here what we're dealing with I think here what we're dealing with is the actual human experience versus expectations. As human beings, we're going to get tired.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that we don't love baby. It just means that on top of my day job, I have to come home and take care of another small human being. So if we can accommodate each other's human experience, that can really help us understand each other and reduce the conflict.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop saying you get tired.
No, you do. I'm joking.
Yeah.
It's like one day,
it's my time.
during a therapy session, he said that sleep is very valuable to him and he feels bad if he doesn't get 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
The other day, the boy slept for a long time. So
Right.
I slept for 8 hours.
That's
So
amazing.
when I woke up, I'm happy. So that's like the first thing I'm telling my wife. Hey, imagine today I've slept 8 hours. She got
no.
mad.
I got really mad.
Because how many hours did you?
I sleep broken sleep.
Yeah,
So maybe like 3 hours here, 3 hours again. It's patchy sleep.
it is.
So for him to wake up at like 6 in the morning is like, wow, today I've slept 8 hours. I went to the gym so pissed off at him. And I said I'll come and tell him that I was not happy with that statement.
But that there is a very beautiful moment. You both are experiencing and communicating with each other authentically what you're feeling. Because the thing that most of us don't know is that when we get married, we create the marital subsystem where we're just husband and wife to each other. When we have babies, we create two family subsystems simultaneously. So we create the parental subsystem where now you're not only husband and wife to each other, you're mother and father to each other as well as to the child. And the other subsystem that is created is the sibling subsystem. And the health of the parental subsystem and the sibling subsystem is dependent on the marital subsystem, so that you can have these conversations. They'll also slip in a healthy way into the parenting and subsequently into the sibling. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing to say, I'm angry at you for getting 8 hours of sleep and I just...
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying earlier, to accommodate our human experiences as human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became like one of those things where you don't want to say a lot of your testimonies because you piss off the haters. So I just enjoy my success in private.
They don't be telling me how many hours you sleep. I really...
Because I count every day.
Go.
What in your partner's past set them up to be a great parent?
It's a good question.
What in your partner's past set them up to be a great parent? I think my partner grew up in a very complete home.
Yeah, that's
And this
beautiful.
is emotionally, spiritually, like they were a complete family. And that in itself, I felt like it gave her a head start to be a good parent.
I think for me would be Ben was affirmed a lot, especially by his dad. So to see how he fathers his own son, I think has set him up to be not just a great dad, but to be a great boy dad. Yeah.
This is what we were talking about earlier in terms of the quality of partner dictating the quality of your life.
Yeah.
The quality of each of you based on how you are raised up is now being brought forth into the quality of parenting, which means the quality of Tower's upbringing is dependent on the quality of both of y'all.
I'm going to tweet that today. I'm going to look so smart until I start pissing people off because it's triggering. I'm going to tweet that today. What in your partner's past set them up to be a questionable parent in your eyes? Hey, is the maswali?
Go.
What in your partner's past set them up to be a questionable parent? My partner was also brought up in a strict home where
Yeah, it's true.
you couldn't just be as fluid as possible. There were some rules. There were some rules that were already.
Some.
I'm being nice here because they're watching. There were some rules that you had to follow, and sometimes that can turn out. That can affect you in a couple of ways. Where maybe, and I feel like maybe that's why Shiro now wants to be that parent who's more fluid, who allows the boy to be whatever he wants to a certain extent, because I know how. But that would have made it to a questionable. That is one of the things that I felt like maybe if it would have affected her, that's one of the things that would have affected her.
Okay.
What about me?
I think Miyoku Chapwa Sana made it okay for him to be okay with.
Therapist amesema it's okay.
Ni sawa, but
Quantifiably.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that made him okay with that decision. And I don't think that makes you a questionable parent.
Right.
It just makes me understand where you're okay with disciplining. And not to say that my dad did not discipline us.
You guys did
Yeah. I don't think there's any African parent.
Oh, really?
From
Yeah, even I
My
don't
My
know.
dad
did not.
hardly used to beat us. Hardly. But my mom, all our muikos were broken. All of them. Yeah, because two boys.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So I think that made he makes him okay with beating,
And I think,
which is
sorry.
a problem.
I'm beating
Which is
out of
not
love.
Yeah. I think what I have observed is most of us are keen on what we don't want to be, but we don't know what we want to be.
That's another tweet. it.
Especially as
When you're collecting
That's so deep.
tweets.
Especially as parents, we know
What you don't want to
Yeah.
do, you just don't know what.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's good as a couple collectively to actually say, okay, what kind of parents do we want to be collectively?
Yeah.
And how do we want to pass down our parenting style? Because you are passing down your parenting style to
Yeah.
your child unconsciously.
True.
And that's how you create how you want to be. Yeah.
All right, let's do the last question of the day.
This has been so fun.
Yeah. What has been your biggest challenge with your partner as a parent? And why do you think you have this challenge?
Okay, go first.
I think I said it in the last episode. I think Ben parents sometimes from a place of fear. And it's a problem. I think it for me it becomes sort of like, you see, even like the issue of junk food. It's like to a place where I even wonder if Tao will be allowed to eat junk food ever, or if it will come with like a whole speech on why you. And it's not bad to educate him, but also it's, I think for me to have that balance of, you just allow him to be a kid, but also, yes, you teach him and educate him. So I think Ben sometimes parents from a place of fear, and I really worry about that.
Okay. History ya junk is very easy to solve because nikiwahamisha nyi wote Murang'a. Wanatoa pizza yenu wapi?
No, and like paranoia also.
Are you able to capture those moments when he's parenting from a point of fear?
Yeah.
So that's when you gently say, I think this is from a point of fear.
I don't know if he gets it.
Okay. So what about my partners? Parenting. I want to also just go.
What's the biggest challenge?
What's the biggest challenge with your partner as a parent?
Yeah.
I feel like my partner is also very freestyle. Like, there's some things achukulina uzito, you know? When my boy was born, immediately I told people they can't come with perfume. You can't come with cologne like into the ward. And watu walikuwa wanatoa masweta by the way, just for you to be in that room. And I just feel like it's unhealthy. Like, I don't want him to get all those things in his system. But for my wife, it's a bit, like it's neither here nor there. And sometimes it's...
The doc said okay.
It gets...
He said in moderation.
No. Later. Na nilikuwa
2
nimeongea na huyo
weeks.
daktari.
At
He
2
told me
weeks.
something. I told him on the side, you have to
At
make
2
this
weeks.
illegal. But generally, I'm trying to say that there's some things that maybe we need to take. Like now, when doc tells me no screen time, I will not do like 5% screen time. For me, I don't know how I process it. It's like, if he said no screen time, I will not be there with my phone. I will not be using my phone when he's there, he's watching.
I'll give you another example. Tawa started winning
Kuna
at
mingi.
Tawa started winning at 6 months. At 5 months, 5 days, you could not make food for that boy. And you had to see the doctor at 6 months. The doctor says, okay, now it's time to give him porridge. But it's like 5 months, 5 days. But Ben is like, if the doctor has not okayed it, then he cannot have even a taste.
And this is what you're saying, parenting from a fear point of view?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that fear or just following what the doc said? Because this is a pediatrician, but I'm following what the professional.
I think it's a combination of both. But right here, you have a balance. If you're somewhat flowing and you're strict, we can agree on these are the things that we have to be very, very strict on. And these are the things that we can give some sense of leeway.
Can we agree on that, really?
She doesn't take a lot of those things seriously, even the serious ones.
Like what?
Like all those things.
And here we see what you said earlier, what Ben said earlier about the strictness that came from home. It seems like there's a conscious decision of, I don't want my baby to experience that strictness, if that kind of makes sense. So
That's true.
yeah, and that's okay. That's completely understandable. I think we need to know that we will get it right, but we'll also fail as parents at some point. Because that's
We're failing.
Yeah.
as a
actually
parent.
scientifically, you will this is not a good start.
Okay.
But you will at least inflict 5% psychologically on your child by the mere fact that you're a human being.
Trauma.
Yeah.
So I'm going to traumatize him. So 5% is like the baseline. So
and it's this is where it comes about. It's when he doesn't understand the thing that he really, really wants and he thinks is right for him, the parents are saying no to. It's the internal processing of they don't understand me, they don't care for me, they don't love me. But in the protection of you guys saying no, is actually care and love and protection. I just want to offer you comfort in terms of, especially as first parents, you're doing your best. And I'm sure you both know that.
I'll come back, we unpack, because I can't imagine Tawa going to therapy discussing
like,
me.
Mom,
Yeah.
you just talk about me all the time on YouTube.
And posted me without my consent.
Yeah.
But maybe by the time he's that grown, there won't be YouTube.
Yeah,
So you
maybe.
have already escaped here.
Wow.
So again, the thing is to get it, you want to be present parents. You want to emotionally meet their needs. It's called emotional attunement, where when they cry, even if something seems so out of order for you, like these kids who cry that their shadow is following them, we don't want to say, oh, don't cry. But it's like, I'm so sorry, this shadow is following. It's such a bad shadow. You want to discipline him with love. And that's a lot of authentic conversations. That's the presence we are talking about. Because if you strive to be like good, perfect parents, most of the time you'll really be riddled with self-doubt. Because you want an outcome. You want a proof of all these things that I've been doing good and perfect. I need this proof here.
Yeah.
We're not saying let's be laissez-faire and everything. We're saying let's accommodate our humanity into knowing that I'm doing the best for my child. But also part of me as a human being is that I will fail.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Nyambura.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. It's always a blessing to have Nyambura on the show. She's an incredible therapist. Well, she told me that they're not supposed to advertise. I'm not advertising her, but she's super.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's also doing her PhD
In September. I'm saying my PhD in September.
your
I'm
PhD
so
in September.
excited, yeah.
Don't please
excited.
this
Hope
achievement.
you'll have time for us.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Always.
Perfect.
Always.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to be having you on more episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please remember that dads get tired too. Ignore everything I said. Dads get tired too.
Dads, let's meet in the comment section.
No, don't. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys on episode 5.
Nashukuru pale nimetoka, kushukuru mimi sitachoka, nashukuru pale nimetoka.